Hi, and welcome back to my channel. First off, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel as I try to continue encouraging everyone out there in the YouTube world. I would like to speak today about following God's lead. I'll start out by telling a story I was in part of a few days ago. I work in a retail environment, and so I get to work early in the morning, and I am there just working, trying to get things done for the customers um, that come in early in the morning. Try to get things finished up early, and so I was there and working with a young lady, and she's a very talkative person, and so as we're working, she's talking and talking, and she has a lot to say, and just talking about her day before and what she's planning on doing the rest of that day, and just a lot of conversation. And so as she's speaking, I'm responding every once in a while, and then after a while, when someone speaks a lot, you tend to tune them out. And so as she was talking, and I'm busy doing my work at the same time, I got into the place to listen to her conversation that, um, I felt like maybe I've tuned her out and I'm just getting my work done. And so the product that I was working with, I accidentally dropped, fell on the floor. And so as I bent over to pick them up, um, customers were coming in at that point. And a lady with her son came walking by, and the product that I dropped was sort of in the way, so I kind of moved it out of the way real quick so they can get by. And they came around me and went over to where the young lady is who I work with, and they approached her and was getting what they needed close to where she was. She looked up and she saw the young man that was with the lady, the customer that came in. And the young boy is probably about, I would say, somewhere around 10 years old. And she said to him, "Good morning, King. How are you today, King? It is so good to see you. You need to hold your head up because you're a king. Don't ever stop being a king." And the mother of that young man, she was so happy that her face beamed with a beautiful smile, and she said to the young man, "Tell her thank you." And so the young man said, "Thank you," and they both walked away. Now, I thought I had tuned her out, while I was working, I thought I had tuned her out, and so I heard the whole thing, and I was so blessed by what she said to this young man. And as I am enjoying the my emotions as far as what she said to the young man, I felt in my spirit that I need to go over to her and thank her. And so I decided to walk across about maybe 15 feet and tell her thank you. And as I'm walking towards her, at this point, there's another customer that was in the store. She's looking at me, and then she smiles at me, and she walks towards me. And as she's walking towards me, I get to the lady I work with, who poured into the young man and recognized that he was a king. And I said thank you to this lady. And she looked at me confused, and she said, "Excuse me?" And so I said, "Thank you." And she's still confused. And she said, "For what?" And I said, "Thank you for letting that young man know that he is a king." And as I was saying those words, The other customer that overheard the whole situation approached us, and she said, "That is just what I was coming to say to you, ma'am. I was coming to thank you for pouring into this young man." And I'm telling this story to give an example of how we I heard from God in my spirit, and the other customer heard from God in her spirit, and we both approached the young lady I work with, who poured into the young man, and we followed the lead of God in our spirit to let her know that what she did was a wonderful thing. Now, the lady I work with, she also followed God's lead, because God wants us to pour into each other goodness, and He wants us to show love to each other every day. And so she followed God's lead to pour into the young man, and myself and the other customer that was in the store that overheard the whole thing also followed God's lead when we felt in our spirit we needed to go over to the lady and thank her for pouring into this young man who was no more than about 10 years old. That is very important for us to do. Um, Sometimes you may feel the need to follow God's lead, but you may be a shy person and you don't like to approach others. And so you're in a situation that you could help someone or smile at someone or talk to someone and just say, "How are you?" Don't be afraid to follow God's lead. If someone always needs to hear something good about themselves, you may feel the need or feel in your spirit to tell someone that they're beautiful. If you feel that in your spirit, follow God's lead. You may just feel like you need to smile at someone. Just give them a smile. That is probably the most contagious thing in this world, a smile. If you smile at someone, they are infected with your smile, and they will. 9.9 times out of 10 smile back. It is very contagious. Um, just like the young lady did, let people know that they're kings and queens. Sometimes we have other adjectives to call people, and I hope I'm using that grammar correctly. Adjectives, I believe it's adjectives, that we use other negative words to call other people. And we know positive words, but sometimes we don't use them as much as we should. And of course, sometimes we're very apprehensive about approaching people we don't know or that we don't feel connected with, but we are all connected as human beings. And so make sure you pour into someone every day, and whenever you feel it in your spirit, you follow God's lead and let someone know how special they are, and and help them understand that they are more than just what they see in the mirror. They are a child of God. I hope this has encouraged you. it sure did encourage me when I witnessed the young lady I work with pouring into the young man. It definitely encouraged me, and I thank God that I was obedient to Him when I felt in my spirit the need to go over to the young lady and let her know that I did appreciate her pouring into one of our children. Thank you for listening to my small little encouragement message. And I hope that you will, like I said at the beginning, subscribe to my channel and make this channel a place of learning and encouragement. Thank you very much.